Welcome back, Wolfpack Nation. We are part two of our discussion with some baseball for our wonderful squad. If you haven't checked out part one, make sure you go check that out. It may lend some context to our further discussion, but if you want to watch them separately, go for it. As long as you watch it, that's all we're asking for. So, all right, guys. So in part one, we talked a little bit about our squad starting off the season, and then we talked about a little offense. So let's talk a little defense now. So Rob, we'll get this conversation started with you. I'm gonna throw out some stats, and then these stats may not sound as pretty as they should be. Now, remember, we are only 9 games into it, so stats are very skewed at this point in the season, and there's definitely plenty of time to get things potentially turned around. So right now we're sitting 10th in the ACC in pitching with a 4.10 ERA. We're giving up 4.5 runs a game, which isn't bad. And then our opponents are batting 219. Now, granted, we are averaging, like I said in part one, over 13 runs a game, so that definitely changes the way you pitch and your philosophy towards it. But what are you seeing from not only our weekend starters but our midweek and in our bullpen?
Yeah, I think the weekend starters have been solid, and like you said, it's when you're up more than 4, 5, 6 runs, it's hard to keep that mental focus of all right, I can't let up a run, I can't let up a run or let a runner on. You let down your guard a little bit because you're cruising. But then again, listen, it's also a week. These guys have had 2 starts, our weekend guys.
Right.
There's not many scouting reports out there yet. But I think Sam pitched a great game. Game one, I think his first 3 or 4 innings were scoreless, and then we went up a ton of runs. And listen, you're throwing more fastballs. You're not pitching to strike everyone out. You're pitching to contact and get those 3 outs. So listen, a couple hits fall, a walk here, a double there. It's a couple runs. But I think they've been solid. And then I think his second outing was a closer game, and he pitched well there. And I think the bullpen has been solid coming in and backing those guys up the last 2 weekends. And these new guys are getting thrown right into the mix. David Harrison has been great. He started off 2-0 on the year. I'm looking forward to seeing him come out for his third start. And then Chris Villeman, he's had 2 appearances. He looked sharp. So it's just getting these reps. I was there pitching against your guys every weekend from the fall till early spring. You're anxious to get out there, and you fine tune as you go. So this is week 3. Let's see what these guys got, and these should be a little sharper outings for these guys.
Yeah. I definitely I was there Saturday and Matt pitched, and it was a little rough for him. Granted, the weather was cold, so we don't know what kind of you know issues that might have caused. I mean, it was cold. Like it was. I mean, Rob, you're from Jersey, so like it was football
Yeah.
weather. Like that wasn't baseball weather. So I don't know how, like in your thought process, how much does that affect a pitcher when it's really cold? I mean, do you have a lot of hard time, especially when the offense has chances to score runs and you're sitting on the bench? Like how much does that have an effect on a pitcher?
Yeah, listen, you're not gripping your curveball that's not effective. You're throwing a lot of fastballs. I think he had a couple walks. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, I'm looking at his stat line now. He had 3.2 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts,
Yeah.
and 2 wild pitches. 80-degree day. I don't think he has any wild pitches. He may have
Right.
one effective walk where it's kind of on purpose. But a couple hits fell in. And yeah, once you're behind the 8 ball there and it's that cold, you're literally relying on your fastball and maybe your changeup grip is working. But Kyle, no, it's easy to hit a fastball no matter if it's 80 or 95 to 100. These guys could hit anything now. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think he's gonna have a bounce back weekend. And listen, this Northeastern team is pretty solid. They had a good run last year, and they're gonna have to be sharp because every weekend you go into, you're looking to win 2 out of 3. And when you win the first 2, you're looking for the sweep. But I think they're up to the challenge, and they're only looking to get better, and they know the end goal. So I don't see
Sure.
them going down. I see them going up.
Absolutely. And we just want to give context, right? Because, people are like, "Oh, the sky is falling." Sam has an ERA of 4.82 and Matt's got, 6.48, but we also have David Harrison at 2.31, right? So it's all
Yep.
going to balance itself out. We're like you said, we're two or three starts in, depending on which pitcher you are. The stats are going to be skewed. So like everyone just step off the ledge. It's going to be fine. And when the weather starts getting nice, like let's give it let's give it a breath.
Yeah.
But Justin, what are you seeing from the pitching staff so far?
Pitching's been looking good. I mean, you got guys like Logan Whitaker, you got Logan Adams, you got Carson Kelly, and then some other good freshman arms that have been pitching good too. I mean, besides the first four y'all named earlier, I mean, the young pitching staff's been looking good. I mean, Adams and Whitaker, they're two good pitchers right now that pitched pretty good last night. Again, could have been better, but they pitched pretty good for their first road test. So I mean, they've been looking good. I mean,
Yeah,
again, it's early.
yeah.
So,
And Kyle, from your time of watching, what are you seeing, from even from a hitting perspective? Like, are you seeing anything with release points or anything that potentially is off with any of these guys, or are you just like, hey, it's early season, let's get the kinks worked out? You, like Rob said, you've been throwing to your own guys for 6 months. Like, what are you seeing?
Yeah, I mean, well, first and foremost, I think pitching and defense is your ticket to Omaha at the end of the day. And
Yeah,
I think with some of the starting pitching, I don't know. You gotta be careful here, but I don't know exactly how in game one, Sam's, if we don't score as many runs there, and maybe Sam isn't as efficient. I don't know if he pitches, into the sixth there. I
sure.
have to think that he probably came out, to throw in the sixth purely because he was just efficient in the first five, and his pitch count was not that high, right? So
Right.
it's hard to Rob's point to go out there and you're up 10, 12 runs and really dial it in, especially with they're coming off of the last time they really played was at the most crucial moment of the season. And at the end of the day, it's early, and
Yep.
you almost want them to struggle a little bit, face a little bit of adversity, and try to work through that. So I have no doubt that Clint and the rest of the staff are going to get them right for the guys that potentially are struggling. But it is hard, man. Like, I give some of the pitchers credit that have, are able to come in. We see it a lot in professional baseball, like the mid relievers that are coming up just to get outs when we might be down 10, 12 runs or 8, 9 runs. And, they're pitching for their life in terms of their ERA. So it's hard to dial it in when you have such a comfortable lead.
Right.
And it's also hard when you're not facing the greatest of competition per se. So you let your guard down a little bit, and everybody, just like Rob said, everybody can hit a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. And
Yep.
and to Willetson, especially with the cold weather, I can't imagine it being easy to grip anything
No,
for that
it
matter.
was nasty.
They probably need to use some more sticky stuff or whatever, but that's a topic for another thing. But no, seriously, I
Absolutely.
mean, I'm not worried about it. I think that what our pitching staff did down the stretch last year, we've got some good arms, we've got some good go-tos, and hopefully, the one thing I do hope is that some of these younger cats still get opportunities in the midweek and out through this weekend and then through ACC play. So we have more options when it comes to down the stretch, and we get into the ACC tournament and hopefully get to a regional, super regional, and back to Omaha. But having a deep bullpen like that is crucial. And if we can get them as many opportunities as possible throughout the season, I think that just solidifies their experience and helps them when you do get to those big stages.
Absolutely. And Justin, I think, what are we carrying? Like 17 pitchers, 20 pitchers? Like the number
20,
is 20. Yeah,
24.
24. That's
24.
what it was. Yeah, I knew it was up there. So to your point, Kyle, there's a lot of pitchers that need to throw at some point. So, that way, what you have in the stable, and you can pull any of those horses at any given time, given the situation.
Are you dropping a
S-
Kevin Cash line?
Yeah, he did.
What?
Look at that!
What?
Holy
What?
cow!
Yeah. Yeah, man. I told you I'm a Rays fan. But
Dang.
but yeah, so don't people, fans, we live in this world where we want, the best at any given point, and fans just take a breath. Everything's going to work itself out. We're very young into the season. The most important at the end of the day are W's and L's, and we got 8, and we only have 1 on the bad side. So we'll be fine. And so with that, we'll get into a little bit of the defense. Defense has been a little shaky, I think. To start off the season, right now we're sitting 10th in the conference at a 966 fielding percentage. We've already committed 10 errors on the season, whereas compared to last season, we only had 36 total. And we've already talked. We got a lot of new faces in the lineup, a lot of freshmen we're running out there. We got some folks that we got JT Jarrett out of the lineup currently, who's a steady force at second. So I wouldn't put too much emphasis on that. I've seen some things on message boards and all of that, like talking about defense, but yeah. So from again, we're 8-1, and we're going to be splitting some hairs for a second, but we already talked about Jacob Cozart, who's been great behind the plate. I say, he's been wonderful. Green has been pretty solid at shortstop. Tommy's been great at first. We had a couple of drop balls in the outfield, but other than that, I think that'll fix itself out. Again, these are, we've had some cold weather. These are the first time that we're playing someone that we that aren't our own players. But what are your guys' thoughts on the defense? I mean, we've always had a solid defense. Is this something to maybe be concerned at moving forward, or you think we're just got to work it out because it's the early season, jitters or whatever?
I do have a question. So Grover is not traditionally an outfielder, right? It's a new position for him.
Right.
So I mean,
Yeah.
you've got guys that can hit the ball really well, and you're going to try to get them in the lineup in certain areas just to shore your offense. And I think it's going to take some time for the defense to shore up.
Sure.
Game 1, JT Jarrett made the error, and it was really just I think it was more so a communication standpoint, because he went to go
Right.
make a throw, and he was like he stopped his throw, right? So I think it's just a young team, and it's gonna take some time. I'm a firm believer as a hitting coordinator and someone who clearly works with the offense. But pitching and defense wins you championships, and if you can put that with a steady offense that we're always going to have at NC State, that's what's going to be the ticket. So I wouldn't say I'm worried, but I definitely think that in order to be really successful, you do have to have a really good, sound defense, and that involves pitching too. So, not worried at all, but I think they'll look to make improvements, and they will. Especially with the younger team that they have, they'll get more experience, they'll have more reps, and they'll work through. Like I said earlier, the game's just probably a little bit faster for some of these guys. And
Right.
I've always said it. I was fortunate enough to play center field, but the corner outfield position is pretty hard too. It's actually a lot harder than center field in terms of the way the ball spins off the bat and some of the angles. It can be really, really difficult. So I think as the younger players that have never been there, they start getting more and more reps in those positions, they're gonna shore up their defense. So I'm not worried about it.
Before we continue, I want to take a quick second to tell you about our sponsor, Flatlands Jessup Insurance Group, that has your whole world covered, with agents in 5 offices throughout eastern North Carolina to help you decide how much coverage you need, offering policies for home and auto, recreational vehicles, commercial, crop, health, life, and employee benefits. They are able to combine options to find a comprehensive solution that works for you. Flatlands Jessup protects the things you love so you can spend less time worrying and more time enjoying them. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Flatlands Jessup. You can also visit their webpage at www.flatlandsjessup.com. So please make sure to go and check them out.
Yeah, and let's not forget, some of those errors were hard luck errors, and it's some of it's just discretion on the hometown scorekeeper, right? So sometimes you need that little love to, like, come on, that was a hard play. Don't give me the E on that one. But Rob, what are your thoughts on the defense so far?
I agree. I'm not worried at all. Listen, if it was ACC Series 3 and 4 were hovering around 500, I'd be concerned. But it's you could catch so many fly balls at the Doke at practice at 2:00 every day. It's a little different when you have your fans in the stadium. You have that buzz. The lights are on. It's
Sure.
different. And I know when I was there, I'm not sure if they changed. We never practiced at night. So when you have that first night game, especially with Groover at a different position, it's difficult. So playing under the lights, playing in a little warmer weather, and when you have the 9 guys working together as one, and they play those 2, 3, 4, 5 series in a row, and it's the same 9, and the communication's there, and if you're going diving to the left and someone's running in, they're gonna not run into you, and you have that satisfaction, and you make that play. That's gonna come with time. So I'm not concerned at all.
Yeah.
Kyle's been there. I've been there. You see it. You see those, I guess, wrinkles in the beginning, and then once you're almost midway through the season, it's smooth sailing.
Absolutely. You'll go weeks
Yeah.
without an error. And I thought the error he had last night on that transfer, I thought that was kind of bogus. I thought he had him out completely, and the error
Yeah.
was more, and it wasn't even an error at that point. It becomes a fielder's choice, but it was on the transfer, and they ended up giving him an error. The guy was safe, but I'm not worried either. You know, like everyone has said, it's early. We'll get it all worked out. It'll be fine. But Justin, what are your thoughts on the defense to this point?
I agree with what y'all are saying. Also, at one time, we had 5 freshmen in the lineup at one time. So, I mean, young players are going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. I mean, again, like we all said, it's early in the year. I mean, you got Noah Souls and Eddie Iser when they're on the outfield. They're pretty good corner outfielders. I mean, but you got freshmen that are hitting the ball good. I mean, defensively, it's going to, like we said, it's going to happen. It's early in the year. I mean, we just started March not that long ago. So, I mean, it's still early. They'll get better. I mean, we see what happens later on in the year, but I think they're okay right now.
Yep. I think we'll be fine. And like Kyle said, at the end of the season, as long as our pitching and defense is humming, we'll be right where we need to be able to compete for an ACC and potentially from there a College World Series championship. So, all right, well, let's talk about something fun. As you guys know, right before the season got started, the NC State Athletics announced a new Doke .20, I guess if that's what we're calling it. There's a $15 million commitment that's kind of being put out there, and hopefully we can get some more money to get some even more enhancements from there. But what are your guys' thoughts so far on what you've seen for potential blueprints or artist renderings and what it's going to look like moving forward? Go ahead, Rob. We'll start with you first.
Yeah, I'll just touch on it quick because a previous episode, I know I talked about it. I'd like to hear what Kyle's thoughts are.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was bringing it up to.
But yeah, I think it's much needed. I think after a couple runs to Omaha over the last 10 years, Coach Avent deserves it. It's been, I think, Coach Avent's dream to get this done since before we were there in 2010. So it's been a long time coming. I think the really cool thing is it's staying on campus. I think the fan experience is going to be insane. I can't wait to go down there for a weekend and catch 3 games and catch up with some old teammates. I think that'd be awesome. And I think just the attraction for recruits. I know Coach Hart does a great job. I know Coach Avent does a great job. Clint with the pitchers and everything. But I think now it's going to be more of a magnet as opposed to our coaches going around the country to different tournaments and using their time like that. I think the players are going to want to come to us, especially seeing the caliber on the field, the talent they're putting on the field, as opposed to the talent you have of the stadium and the attraction, the appeal of that, the player facility, the locker room, the weight room, all right there at the Doke. I think it's going to be pretty spectacular.
And Kyle, I'll throw it to you. What are your thoughts on what you've seen so far? What they're looking at doing to the Doke?
It's about time. I mean, for me, being so close to the program, to know how hard, Coach Avent has worked at, putting this together and trying to raise the money. And, Coach loves his players, right? And that's what he's doing it for. He's not doing it for himself. As blue collar as Coach Avent is, he doesn't need anything extravagant whatsoever, right? But he's doing it for the players that, or he's wanted it for the players that are playing in his facility. They deserve more, as simple as that is, and they're finally getting it. So it's pretty cool to see. And to Rob's point, Coach Hart has been, probably, I have to say, hands down the best recruiter in the country. To do it with the facilities that we've had and to get some of the guys that he has in the past 8 years is pretty remarkable, right? So I don't think he's going to let up when it comes to the recruiting stuff. There's just going to be another piece that makes us, even better. And it's cool that we've garnished the national spotlight, and we're getting a lot of attention and becoming the best school to play at in the state. But everybody's really competitive, man. Like Carolina, obviously their facilities, and Duke's facilities. Duke's doing really good with their program. It's I can sum it up in 3 words. It's about time. And it's you've got mid-major schools that have way nicer facilities than we currently have, and we're in a Power 3 conference in the country, and we've gone to regional after regional after regional, and to see that not happen, and to see how much time and effort and energy that avent's put into trying to make it happen, and it finally come to fruition is really cool. So I'm excited for the players that are going to get a chance to play at it. Going to get what it's like to play at a top-notch facility in the country. What's really cool is a lot of those players come to NC State because of the close-knit bond, because of the coaching that they get. And honestly, why I chose to come there in the first place was it was cool that the stadium was on campus, and the fact that it's going to stay on campus is really cool to me. But it's gonna be a lot better for those players, and I'm excited for them to get that opportunity to play at a nice facility for what they deserve, for the success that they've had.
Absolutely, and it's only gonna increase the visibility of the program. So with what you're saying, Coach Avent's done the most with the least, and it's a testament to the staff more than anything, right? And I think as 2 players, you guys know that better than any fan knows, and so. So to someone, Justin, that spends a lot of time at Doke, you probably know it better than some of the players as much time as you spend there. What are your thoughts on what you've seen for Doke 2.0?
I agree with 100% what Kyle said. I mean, it's about time. It's going to be cool to see the grills down the first baseline for everybody. I mean, I'm very happy that the players are going to get pretty much new batting cages. And the locker room is going to be redone. Everything, I think, from the first phase that I saw, it looks very good. I can't wait to see with hopefully all 3 phases how it looks when it happens. But, it's going to put it this way, it's got mixed feelings about when it happens, because it's going to be like missing the old Doke, and then you get the new one that you've been waiting for. Yeah, bittersweet.
Yeah, sure.
But, I'm excited for it, though. It's going to be fun when everybody gets to see it come next February.
Yeah. So I'll close with my thoughts on Doke. So this past weekend was the first time I've ever been to Doke. So Truth in Lending. I live up in Northern Virginia, just outside of Washington D.C., and baseball is one of those sports that's sometimes hard to get to. With one of the things that that will be done is the increase in the attendance, right? So we only have 3,000 seats in there currently, and State's done a really good job of selling that place out. So it's sometimes a really hard ticket to find. So I'm excited that that they're going to expand not only the attendance, but Justin, you mentioned the grills. I'm already on a wait list to sell a kidney so I can get one of those grills. I think that's an awesome touch that they're going to put in there. You can tailgate while you watch a ball game, and baseball is kind of one of those social sports anyway. At times where if it's a little slow, you can talk to your buddy or whatever. So nothing's more nostalgic of having a beer and a hot dog at a baseball game, and now you'll be able to do your own. So I'm really looking forward to that from a fan perspective. But I know the players are going to really enjoy all the new amenities, the batting cages that they're putting in, the fitness stuff, the locker rooms, the what do you guys call the player lounges? All of that stuff's getting upgraded, and I'm looking forward to the type of recruits that we're going to be able to pull in because of that. So it's a great time to be a State fan. It's a great time to be a Wolfpack Pack9 player. I'm so excited for what the future of this program is going to be, with all this stuff that's happening in the program. We expect ACC championships. We expect some more trips to the College World Series. It won't be easy, but we'll have the tools to be able to do it. And I think that's the most important part. Nothing will be able to hold us back at that point. So with that being said, I want to thank my guests today, Mr. Kyle Wilson, Mr. Rob Chamara, and Justin Cooke for joining us. It's been a great conversation. So Tuffy Talk fans out there, make sure you like this video. And again, if you're a first timer watching this video, give us a like, give us a subscription. We're getting near 1,000 subscribers, and we need your help to get us there and spread the word and spread the love of NC State. So, with that, we'll talk to you on the next episode of Tuffy Talk. Y'all be good.
Thanks for having us. Go Pack.